Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. It's nice to see that most of you have survived so far through this cold spell we're going through. When did they start naming winter storms? I think it's really funny. Chris Paul pointed that out in one of our chats. Like, they couldn't pull off the hurricane stuff recently, so they decided to start naming winter storms. Winter Storm Fern, super gay. But yeah, it's not as cold today as it was the last couple days here. I'm seeing your guys' comments in the chat. They're kind of funny. 98% chance John will be negative today. I probably will be a little bit, just because of some of the behavior I'm seeing on social media. Twitter is hot garbage, as usual. Jan Gray Heck says, several shows not broadcast in the last few days. After Dark Audio Files. Is Brad okay? Brad is okay. He's just in the middle of some winter shenanigans. Burning Bright had the same issue. So yeah, narrative didn't play, audio files, Q After Dark. It's just weather related. Nothing crazy. Name change suggestion, the Daily PSYOP. That's a great suggestion. Rocky Top Apologist left a $5 rant off the top. Says, this is the first time I've ever been able to watch this show outside of my work truck. I have to celebrate with a rant. Don't tell my wife that I ranted because, well, I'm not working. You know what? I won't tell her because I don't know her. But glad you're here. Glad you can watch live. Ajax Alpha's on vacay. Figure it's Monday and you'll say there isn't much news. Well, see, that's the thing. There kind of isn't. It's all this. Everybody's freaking out about Minnesota. And everybody's freaking out about silver. That's like the main news. And plus, we're kind of leading into a government shutdown potentially. And so that's related to the Minnesota stuff. So yeah, there really isn't a whole bunch of news, but we'll go through headlines and whatnot, and we'll talk about. I'll talk with you guys as I always do. We'll talk about silver. Polar Spark, I'm here for the bad sarcasm. I'll try to lay it on thick today. They started naming winter storms officially in the winter of 2012, 2013. Interesting, Spetzel. But yeah, so let me start first by talking about, I want to talk about the Twitter behavior that I'm seeing, but no, I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to get to our sponsors first, and then we'll get to that in a little bit. Loaded Gun Coffee, guys. You're all familiar with Loaded Gun Coffee. They have been longtime supporters of Badlands, and you may have even met them in person at a GART if you've been to one. And if you haven't been to one, you should go to one. But did you know that they are a veteran-ran, family-owned shop in Lake Havasu, Arizona, right here in America? Every bag of their whole bean coffee delivers a high-octane, patriotic punch of flavor. I can vouch for that. Their coffee's fantastic. With a long family history of commitment to freedom, every bag is a testament of pride and honor, from skilled farmers who cultivate each blend to their roasters that handpick the finest coffee beans from around the world. Loaded Gun Coffee has mastered their unique brewing methods, resulting in the best-tasting coffee around. This coffee is smooth and delicious, the perfect way to start your mornings. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/loaded. Use promo code Badlands, and you can get 10% off your order. And if you're in the Lake Havasu area, stop into their newly renovated store and say hi. So stay loaded, guys. badlandsmedia.tv/loaded, promo code Badlands. Bay Arthur's Dick says, the Dems love government shutdowns, but it hurts their constituents the most. So retarded. Yeah, it really is very retarded. Especially for what it's worth, that was specifically the Weather Channel that started that trend back then. You're like, why do we need names for this stuff? Mimi Two Boys. Oh, I need to find new coffee. I'm going to order some in a minute. Just use that promo code. We appreciate it. Okay, let's start it off. No update on the Doge website. Share my screen. There we go. No update on the Doge website. Silver right now is All-time highs, records, 117. Holy shit. 117.67. I really hope, guys, that for the past couple of years when we've been saying, hey, if you can, get some gold and silver, badlandsgold.com. I hope you were doing that. And I'm going to keep telling you to do that because I still think it's only going up. As the dollar and the system that we, have in place here continues to die and be devalued, which we think that's happening, right? I mean, a central piece to this community, even though we don't know the specifics on how it might look or how it's going to happen, whatever, it comes with some sort of reorganization of the financial system, and something will affect the dollar. We don't exactly know how, but I do not think this is the ceiling. I think it's only going to go up. Demand for silver especially is just crazy all over the place right now. It's used in all the, everything, all the chips. It's used in manufacturing of all this stuff. And there is a shortage. There's a physical shortage. They've artificially suppressed this number so long, they can't do it anymore. They just literally can't do it. And know what's also weird is, who is not talking about gold and silver at all, hasn't mentioned it, is Donald Trump. And I find that fascinating. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. He hasn't mentioned it. And it has been going up like crazy since October, November. I don't think he's mentioned it once. Why is that? And I don't know, but I find it weird. I think there's something to that. And if you think that it has to do with the chips manufacturing, silver being a big part of that and some of the rare earth minerals and whatnot, the shortage and whoever has the supply very much has to do with the future of technology. So is that why he hasn't said a word? He doesn't want more people to try to go and get into it. He wants to keep it kind of quiet if he can, even though you really can't keep it quiet. Everybody's talking about it now. But yeah, Trump is not mentioning precious metals, Ramon. And there's got to be a reason why, because he mentions everything. He's constantly talking about everything. It advertises on his rallies on RSBN, but that's not him. That's RSBN doing it. St. Pete says gold to silver 43-1. Experts are saying, we're saying 50-1 start selling. We're in uncharted territory. Because if everyone wanted to cash in, the Fed would collapse. It's not a bad point. Trump is gold everywhere. It doesn't much need to be said, in my opinion. I know, he loves gold, obviously, but it's weird that he hasn't talked about the silver and gold prices going up. And yet, Kid Crush says Junior can't stop talking about it, which is great. Ken Cooksey, hey, John, how's your show going? We're doing ads on ours. What are you doing? Join Coach, are you kidding? He did say a while back it was a good time to buy silver, then Melania in that silver gown while high on silver played. When was that? When did he say? When was a while back? Because you'd think silver being all-time high would be time for him to talk about it. Spetzel says, I have enough silver to be very, very, very nervous and very, very, very happy at the same time. If anybody wants to send me some, let me know. Bank of London been out for a while. Hey, y'all, my husband and I bought several ounces of silver this morning at a pretty good price. What price was that? Badlandsgold.com. Got to go back to our show. What do you guys talk about in your show, Cam? Must not be that interesting if you're over here in my chat. Medbeds Co. says, I traded eggs and beer and vodka at the local hoot shop right before the show. 2 bottles of vodka and a case of Legarado, local beer, for 6 dozen eggs. That's interesting. Ash says the silver dress was New Year's Eve or New Year's. I'm curious to see what he said. Anyway, that's that. Bitcoin not going up as much as silver and gold are. It's 87,735. But I don't even know where to go after this. I really want to talk about the behavior we're seeing on Twitter with everybody flip-flopping on all these damn issues. And so let me play this video from Kash Patel. And I think this was, I don't even remember when he said this. I think it was yesterday. So the Minnesota shooting, right? There's another shooting and things are popping off down there. It was freezing cold all weekend and they still have a shit ton of protesters out. I have a buddy of mine that lives in the cities. I actually met him through Badlands. Like his mom came to conferences, great people. And I think I'm going to have him on the show sometime this week for just like 10, 15-minute segment because I want to talk about, hey, you're there in Minneapolis. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? But then also he's like a financial advisor. And so I think talking about some of the silver stuff, it make for an interesting conversation. But this is what Kash Patel said. And I'm curious what you guys think.
I mean, thousands of people are marching through Minneapolis. They are targeting the Border Patrol. I mean, it feels like the rhetoric and the protesting is only ramping up. What is your advice to the people right now who are outraged that this is a second killing at the hands of Border Patrol in 2 weeks?
As Christy said, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't have that right to break the law and incite violence. We will, of course, always protect your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country in these protests turning into violent scenarios and people attacking law enforcement. That's when you go over the line, and that's when law enforcement steps in.
Well, I mean, thousands of people.
Well, you can't bring a firearm to any sort of protest you want. It's that simple. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. And it's just been such a weird weekend watching the cesspool that is Twitter. I don't remember who said, was that Elf Boy who said that? Yeah. I think it was Elf Boy. Twitter's a cesspool. That's what it is. And you have all these mega influencers out here. They're like flip-flopping on issues, like stuff that they defended our side doing in the past. Now they're like criticizing now that the left is doing it. And, that's fine. I obviously don't think that you should be interfering with law enforcement. Like that is going to lead to a certain level of finding out when you fuck around like that. And we saw what happened. But like trying to paint it as he was like some sort of criminal, it looks like he was disarmed. Like it's kind of a tragic thing. The whole thing was stupid. But people are defending what Kash is saying here. Some people. And Phil Scarborough made a great point. And sometimes I forget this myself, but we always have to remember that 98% of the planet is not actually on X, and X is not a true representation of real life. That is a good point. But also, it is like one of the most effective psychological warfare weapons that exists, and they use it. They use it to, guide policy, guide decisions, guide psyop. Like they create the psyops. They get them rolling on Twitter. People will send clips of what they see on Twitter to other people. Like that happens quite a bit. And it's probably one of the most popular apps out there, I'd imagine. And so even though not everybody's on it, it's still moving the needle enough where they can use it in their psyops. But yeah, these people, they just have like no freaking principles at all. And so at least that part's nice. But the incentive structure on Twitter is so fucking broken. I'm sorry, I've sworn a lot today. I shouldn't be doing that. Rocky Top apologist, John, my libertarian friends are freaking out over this. They are such a good temperature gauge of passions. I'm curious what they're saying, Rocky Top. Like, what are they saying? Miss Watley says he paid $30 an ounce. I'll ask him where, but I'm scared of what he might say. I'd be scared if it's real silver for $30 an ounce. Yeah, if you bring a firearm to a protest, don't assault federal agents. Yeah, brandishing and threatening people with it is an entirely different situation. Wahlberg Forge, I take multiple mags to the bathroom. Kara B, good to see you, Kara. I can't even wear my Kash Patel winter hat anymore. He's so not cool anymore. I don't know. It's a weird thing for him to say, for sure, and quite inaccurate. But this Minnesota situation is just making everybody lose their damn minds, which is the point of these psyops, right? And so I'm not like as invested. I don't want to say I don't care. I care that people are being psyoped. Like that's the thing. And they have us so divided. I was hopeful going into this term that the division that we see between like the two sides, we might be able to bridge that gap at some point. And it seems that they're pushing it further away. And so I did have a post over the weekend. I was like, the one thing that can unite us, both sides, that we can all agree on, bipartisan, is some sort of tax revolt. Because we're sick of the fraud. We're sick of the big government. We haven't seen the Doge we've expected. And the left obviously doesn't want to support what Trump and ICE are doing. And that's another whole other discussion. We discussed this Saturday with the DHS and ICE and some of these. Like, is that even a constitutional agency? I don't know. Don't bring a firearm to a protest. Is that like don't bring a knife to a gunfight? Is Minnesota open carry? I think you can have it as long, and this is what everybody's saying, like he didn't have his license on him. Like that's not the issue with what took place. They didn't ask for his license before shooting him. You know, like the license aspect of it, you didn't even know whether or not he had his license based on the video and how that interaction went down. Don't interfere with protesters don't interfere with law enforcement, and you won't find yourself in a situation like that. It's that simple. But also, you are allowed to carry your gun places. Shall not be infringed. But this is probably like the biggest part of this story, I think. Where did I put that? Right here. The whole Signalgate thing. The insurgency command chat that they've uncovered. I think this is fascinating because this is just in one spot in Minneapolis, like this protest. Stuff like this goes on all over the country at scale, depending on whatever they're trying to do, whatever consensus they're trying to fabricate. I don't think they've been as effective as they were in the 2020 Summer of Love, but this one appears to be damn effective. For a while there, I thought maybe some of their funding and the organization has been taken out a little bit, and it seems to be coming back around with this protest. But let me read through some of the story. What appears to be unfolding in Minneapolis, particularly following the emergence of Signalgate on Sunday via citizen journalists on X, extends well beyond any conventional protest activity. The evidence so far suggests a coordinated pressure campaign against federal agents exhibiting characteristics of a low-level insurgency, with direction, tasking, and information flow rooted through encrypted messaging apps, implying an organized command and control structure functioning as a shadow revolutionary force. Here's a clip. And they're going to get us eventually, but I'm willing to die for these bubbleheads. It's crazy. People are dying for foreigners. Like, it's just the dumbest thing. I don't understand it. Like, if you go back to World War II and tell the people who like stormed Normandy and, to come back from the war, they just won, be like, hey guys, about 80 years from now, how long has it been? 80 years? Whatever. 80-ish years from now, there are going to be people that are protesting and willing to die for illegals from Somalia coming into our country. I wonder how they would react to that. What the hell are you talking about? St. Pete 70. I started buying silver 1-ounce coins and bars, figuring it is like having $30 a piece on hand for easy bartering. Heck, now you almost need half an ounce or quarter-ounce coins. Any gun laws and infringement on the Second Amendment? Absolutely. Deb Rich, TikTok is really popular with the youngsters. Since 2020, it seems someone, have been tempering the left. Now it seems the right is being tempered. I agree. Walbert Forge, all these fakes commenting about laws when it's God-given right that shall not be infringed. Yes. Bass Burns, wanted to give everyone an update. My dad completes a 96-hour straight of chemo today. Oh my gosh. No side effects. He should come home from first treatment tomorrow. Andyman01 says, praise for your dad, by the way, Bass Burns. Andyman says, thank you for pointing that out, John. I remember our side interviewing sheriffs about how they were the highest ranking law enforcement in the counties. Short memories. $5 John, fake? What are you talking about? Be careful where you buy silver. Lots of fake out there. About acid test kit, to be sure. I think I saw an image on Twitter over the weekend of like the outer shell of some of these silver bars are real, like it's real silver there, but inside it's lead. So the acid test, unless you get into the middle, I don't know if it'll do it. Pen W, I agree, and I don't agree that we should have to have a permit to carry a gun, but the Democrats of Minnesota have made the law. Now they want to say he was legally carrying his gun. No. But is an illegitimate government, a fraudulently elected government, making a law that somebody shouldn't have had their gun? Like, are we going to go by that now? That I don't agree with that take. Also, 100% what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis, 100% it's because of fraudulent elections. Like, could you imagine if we had actually fixed our elections back in 2020, how different things would look right now? Like if Trump didn't have to walk away, if they would have put an end to the bullshit right then and there, November of 2020, how different things would look. If we had exposed election fraud, and I don't know what the new system would look like. Maybe it wouldn't be perfect. Still would have issues with it, whatever. But even some semblance of election integrity, we wouldn't have the issue in Minnesota right now. It's all because of election fraud. It's all because Biden was allowed to step into office in whatever form or fashion, the reduced level, Trump called it, the open border policies, and then the elected official in Minnesota. I do not believe that Minnesota is actually a blue state. There are blue cities. There are liberals in the big cities. I get it. But they've stolen the election there as well. And this is what's happening. The Minnesotans didn't vote for whatever. They didn't vote for this. Nobody voted for anything if our elections are fake. It's virtue signaling. But it's 100% because of election fraud. There's no way getting around that. I need to catch up in the chat here. You can carry, but if it couples you over, the first thing you have to say is I have an LTC and have my firearm with me today. Razor Sharp was watching over on YouTube. Many more people watching on Rumble. Yes, but thank you for those who are watching on YouTube. We do appreciate that. I know YouTube sucks. We're just trying to spread the word, right? Morning, everyone. I was caretaker of a silver ghost town outside Los Angeles. The tailing piles alone are now profitable to mine. I wonder if it'll come back online. It made Los Angeles and went away. Cece says, anti-ICE retards think one isolated incident in Minnesota should make every person change their minds on supporting mass deportations. And it is an isolated incident, but these people, they want to be killed by ICE. They're going out there and they don't care if they get killed. That's a best case scenario for the narrative they're trying to push. And, so Walz calls in the National Guard. They come in and they're feeding protesters donuts and coffee. Man, I could go for a donut. My favorite donut place here in town is remodeling. And so the other location for it is way down south end of town. So I didn't go get them. And was it Saturday or Friday? It might have been Friday. And so, but anyway, Friday, so the place I was craving a donut, I don't know why. I was just craving a donut. So the place I went to is just a grocery store and their donuts not nearly as good. And so it didn't satisfy my craving. Anyway, the National Guard clearly assisting the protesters in some form or fashion. I'm curious to see if this is going to escalate. Trump sent down Tom Homan, and Trump had a weird call with Governor Walz. He's been talking so much shit about Walz. It's been hilarious. Called him retarded, all those things. And then we have this just like an hour ago. And actually, no, I'm going to read this first. First, Trump said this: I'm sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me. Separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota and is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Anyway, and then the call today was this. Seems like he's got nothing but nice things to say now. Governor Tim Walz called me with a request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for, are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have touched. And even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump. I'm wondering, Walz, whenever he does his next press conference, is obviously going to be asked about this. I'm curious to see his side of the story, because Trump's making it seem like it was a perfect phone call of sorts. 12 anyway. John, how long do you think we've had fake elections? That is such a good question, Ty. I miss you, man, by the way. Good to see you. I don't know. Have we ever had legit elections? Like, have we ever had an election where people are able to verify that all the votes cast were indeed counted towards the candidate that they had been cast for? I don't know. The Final Demand just sent a $10 rant. Says the Final Demand, saw the vids, thought it was BS, made a snowball and put a lighter to it. Why does it turn black? I DM'd you the photo on X. Go outside and try to tell me what you think it smells like. WTF. Well, that seems interesting. You DM'd me the photo on X? Because I don't see it. Let me check my message request here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. You did. I don't know. When things burn, don't they turn black? I'm not a scientist, guys. I don't know. I don't know why that would happen. But that's interesting. And thank you. Now I know who you are. Fun man. I'll follow you back over there. Ash, do cops have the right to come home? I would say they do. Phil Scarborough, remember to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, guys, don't leave here without hitting the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. I just think we need to stop supporting those blue cities by paying our taxes. Yeah, the tax revolt thing. I mean, I think if there's ever an opportunity to do it, it's now. That's why I would love to see somebody just ask Trump about it and get his comments, because it's going to be inescapable for him, whether there's bigger things going on or not, just to have to engage with that, like from a narrative level. Like, hey, bro. Sorry. Hey, Mr. President, sir, you've said that the fraud is rampant. You've said that the government is wasteful, fraudulent, or like waste, fraud, and abuse, right? It's everywhere. It's the whole purpose of Doge. You said at Davos that if we cut off 50% of the fraud, we can have a balanced budget. Okay, so why are we paying taxes then? Why should people be paying taxes to a fraudulent government that's $38 trillion plus in debt, sending all our money overseas? Why? And I would just love to see how he engages with that narratively, because some of the people I've asked on the show have been like, oh, well, you're going to go to jail if you don't. Some people have kind of skirted around answering it. Like, politicians aren't allowed to say that without getting in trouble, I'm pretty sure. But Trump can. And what happens if somebody like President Trump were to say, you're right, you shouldn't be? I don't know if he would. But it'd be interesting to see the question asked. Bay Theater Dave, we have never had legitimate elections or a legitimate economic system. I agree. Mr. Eisenhower, I don't know if that video is legit, but Adrian tried this with snow in Philly in 2020, and the snowball absolutely did not melt. Did it turn to ice? So what are we trying to say? What are we trying to say about ice and snow? Is it fake? Richard Rohr, John, just be consistent. It's all fake and gay, bro. Thank you, Richard Rohr, for the daily fake and gay. The Jeep Dog, would be funny if Waltz starts flipping on everyone else and bringing receipts in order to save his butt. Might have to. Crazy lady. In 08, John, in Colorado, you could go to your county website and see who you voted for. That ended in 2010. But even that, like you go to a website where they show you who you voted for. That's great. But how do you know that it was actually counted towards the person that it says you voted for? Unless everybody can see on like one public website who everybody else voted for too. And I understand people don't love that idea of like the transparency of being able to see what your neighbors voted for. I get that's not going to fly right now, but it should. And that might be the only way to verify. If you could be like, go to your neighbor. Did you actually vote for this? And if they say yes, that's fine. I mean, you could still be friends with your neighbor and whatnot. Like, we're a little too divided right now for that kind of policy, I think. But I think that has to be something in the future where we can verify everything. I don't know how else you do it. Rise of Tire, there's particulates in the snow that cause it to singe black instead of melt. Huh. Yeah, my nameplate still says Lotion Tycoon. I keep forgetting to change it, and I probably won't. Pen W, Ash 1776, I got sued for exactly that, John. Yeah. But you're going to win that lawsuit. Virginia only shows you that you voted, not who you voted for. Right topologist, what I find interesting is that we are at the point where we're talking about snow that doesn't melt, which should be concerning, but this group is like, oh well. Yeah. I love snow. I just hate the cold. And it's not even that I tolerate the cold. I like the snow though because when it's warm enough for my kids to go out and play in it, it's a blast. You can go sledding. Like I can go sledding in my backyard because I have a kind of a slanted backyard. It's like this little hill. So in the summer, I set up a slip and slide and a little pool thing at the top, and they like slip and slide down. And now in the winter, I pile the snow up right off the deck. So the kids stand on the deck and they go down on a sled, and it like takes them all the way to the back of the yard. It's really cool. And the neighbor boys show up. By the way, this is hilarious. The other day, you guys remember the story I told you about the neighbor boy who like got upset and he brought a blowtorch over? He's like 3 years old. He's hilarious. My girlfriend calls him, he's like feral. It's a good way to describe him because he is. He shows up. The other day we were down in the living room watching TV before bed, or watching a movie or something, some kids movie. It was right after dinner, and my girlfriend had gone back up to the kitchen to grab something or do something, and she like almost like screamed. She like freaked out because the little neighbor boy, 3 years old, was just standing at our patio door, staring inside, just standing there. It's like minus 10, 15 degrees outside. And he's like, can Johnny and Jovi come out and play? Wasn't wearing gloves or anything. But yeah, it was too close to bedtime. I didn't let the kids go play, but it was really funny. And then you could see like his little boot tracks in the backyard. He like walked all over the place. All the way to the back of the yard, all 500 acres of property. Yeah. It was hysterical though. But I do love it. Like I put not me, my dad put a gate in the fence so that the kids could just come hang out. It's really funny. So they do that. Yeah, see, I yelled, John, there's a child at the door. Anyway, let's go back to this story. I don't think I finished reading it. What's more, former Tim Walz campaign advisor Amanda Kohler, as well as a Minneapolis City Council member Aaron Kahowdry, is that really how you spell that name? Kahowdry, have allegedly been identified as key figures in the now leaked Signal group chat. Oh yeah, that's a typo. It looks like just Chowdhury. Here's a video. There's like 1,000 people in this chat. The group even has a Signal chat guide advising anti-ICE protesters. was exposed by journalist Cam Higbee, who published a bombshell report on Sunday after infiltrating multiple groups across Minneapolis with the stated aim of tracking federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing their operations. The report sparked a wildfire across X overnight. And it sure did. Everybody's talking about it. You have government officials, anarchists, Antifa, gang members, journalists. They're all coordinating to attack ICE. Like, this is a little insurgency. Trump has had the justification to implement the Insurrection Act since 2019. He may have already implemented it. We don't even know. But certainly now, like, if he wanted to unleash the narrative of the Insurrection Act, he could do it. But he's not. And that's the part that I think is interesting. Like, why, what is it that is preventing him from doing it? And so we have to engage with that. And you can engage with it in a couple of ways. Like, you can understand there's something bigger going on behind the scenes, which I do. And I believe that. And I'm still working on like some sort of article. I keep like changing the direction I want it to go. So I don't know when it'll be done. Could be a couple days, could be a week, could be, I don't know. But anyway, I believe there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. But also Trump is continually operating in the normie sphere. Like, he's operating for the normies, as if it like the normie battle space, we call it. And is there a reason in the normie battle space that he doesn't want to implement the Insurrection Act? And I think there is. It's our fake elections. Doesn't want to lose the fake midterms. There's something about the timing. And he's not 3, CC? Whoops. He's like 4 or 5. He's young, very young. I'm pretty sure he's like 3, though. I'm pretty sure he's 3 or 4. Lana MTG on Shipwreck said it. What did she say? Yeah, 5 is still young to be outside in freezing weather. I mean, the parents are right there. They can just go inside whenever they want when they get cold. And I told him, like, go put your gloves on. Gopher, Bondi must be operating behind the scenes too. I don't think so. I don't know. I've been critical of Bondi since the beginning. The only person I've given benefit of the doubt to is like, I do know this person is operating behind the scenes, like something bigger, is Trump. None of these other people I give the benefit of the doubt to. Trump is planting seeds all over the place, and one day he's going to sprout at the same time, and they're going to be a big happening. You know, Trump did say the other day in Davos that they're going to be prosecuting election fraud soon. Like, prosecutions are coming soon. People will soon be prosecuted, he said. And that's part of what sparked me to want to write this article, is I think that is such a big statement. And it's not new. Like, talking about election fraud is not new. Saying people should be held accountable, that's not new. We've been wanting that forever. But Trump finally saying, like, yeah, it's on the way, it's coming. It changes the landscape completely. Because whatever that looks like, it's going to take us back to 2020. Like, where we were in 2020, having this discussion about, like, you thought things are heated now. Wait till the entire Biden administration has been delegitimized because he didn't win the election. And people have to start addressing, like, what that means, the ramifications of that. I don't even think I've fully comprehended what the ramifications are of that. But that's what I've been trying to do, is like, this is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. If there was ever a reason to, like, address our election fraud, it's going to be on the heels of that. And all these protests are already going on. Everybody's already fed up with their government from both sides. That's when you're going to see an Insurrection Act. John, is your article a strongly worded letter? A strongly worded article? No, I'm not good with words. But it's just such interesting times. Do you guys think there's ever been a time where both sides have been totally, like, fed up with their government? Outside of the people cheerleading online for everything, defending everything, completely taking the opposite side of issues that they've had before, just to cheerlead because that's how the social media incentive structure operates. Outside of that, I don't think there's ever been a time when everybody was like, this is retarded. the left obviously hates Trump. They hate what ICE is doing, all these things. Whatever the mainstream media tells them to be upset about, that is what it is. Our side's kind of the same way. But people are getting like fed up with like the things that Cash is saying, things that Pam Bondi are saying, the dogening not happening. We're told that they're in the agencies, whatever, but we haven't seen it. All we're talking about these days is fraud. Everybody's sick of it. Money going overseas, this government shutdown. It's a 1,059 page bill with funding for ICE, DHS. I think there's more money going over to Israel. People are sick of it. Ms. Wally, we've been waiting on the Insurrection Act since 2020, and we've been waiting on election fraud exposure since 2020. None yet. Even when the proof comes out about the election fraud, nobody's going to believe it, at least on the normie side. Yeah. And that's such a good point, and something I've been wrestling with too, because whatever election fraud evidence you show, if it's going to have the effect we need it to have, it needs to be so dumbed down and so obvious and undeniable that like I can text a denier or somebody who wants to deny it, and they'd be like, "Well, okay, well, yeah," and then they can change the subject and go to a different excuse, whatever. That's fine. But it needs to be undeniable. Like some of the stuff that we see and have seen over the years from the election fraud deniers, right? Because we're the election deniers. They would be the election fraud deniers. And so we're the election fraud deniers, whatever. A lot of the stuff we've seen from the election fraud deniers has been because the information that comes out, it's just like so dense. And it's not that it's wrong. It's just hard to digest for some people. The people are retarded, right? We need to make a retarded proof evidence. That's number one. It has to be so that they can't deny it. But then after that, like, where are we going to take the conversation after that? Because if we do it right, we could be having discussions about, okay, well, Trump said if we're right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president. He's been screaming this for 5 years, and now the proof is coming out that he was right. What did he do? He had this evidence back then, and he just walked away? No. Again, this conversation is more for other people, not our audience, my audience, because you guys know where I'm at with this, with devolution and stuff. But then beyond that, even beyond what happened during the Biden administration, is how long has this been going on? And what does that mean for every institution we have in this country? I've been saying election fraud is the number one issue because of how many things it's affected. I've been saying that for years. And it's so true. And if you get to the heart of that issue and expose that to be illegitimate and fraudulent, everything downwind of that is also illegitimate and fraudulent. And I don't know if people are prepared to have that conversation yet. But we need to be. That's what I'm saying. We need to be ready for that conversation. Scott Besson is the most based fag ever. He is pretty great. He's going to take back the diamonds, John. What does that mean? What do we think that looks like? Freely, I wonder how many here have never read or seen the Devolution series. I feel like the people here have obviously all read it, or at least are aware of what it means and what it's about. And that's another thing I'm trying to do with this article is like talk about that and distill what we saw over the last 4 years. I'm basically trying to have this article be that conversation. It's not necessarily for my normal followers. It's like, okay, these people already know half of this stuff. But I'm trying to present it in a way that's like, okay, well, if you've never read it, what do you think happened? What did Trump do? But yeah, I appreciate all those who have been following since the beginning. Strongly worded diamond takebacks. PJ, where the hell you been, man? I was wondering. You were here before the show started. I saw you as an early bird in the chat. Miss Wally and supported Substack. And know what? I truly appreciate those that still support the Substack. I haven't written anything in a while, but it's because of that support that I've been able to do the things that I've been able to do with Badlands. Truly appreciate you guys. If you're feeling generous, you should head over there and subscribe. I remember when you would go through each one of your articles of devolution on Jordan's podcast. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to keep reading through this stuff. What time is it? Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This Minnesota situation, guys, it's not going away. It's not going to be resolved anytime soon. And it's, if anything, it's just opening up a bigger can of worms, because the leaders on the left, this is what they're doing everywhere. They do it at every opportunity, the little minor insurgency. The followers on the left, the people who like believe they're fighting the just cause, if they're willing to do it in that kind of weather, they're willing to do it anywhere. And we're going to have instances like this all over the country. And now it's being used in politics, where we're going to have another government shutdown. We have this story: a moderate Democrat crossed party lines to back a bill providing $10 billion funding to ICE. This Susie guy, he's a Democrat out of New York, on Monday said he regretted his vote last week for a funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security amid intense backlash surrounding the Trump administration immigration crackdown. Oh, shoot, I just accidentally deleted this story. Here is the Capitol shutdown odds spike. The killing of Alex Preddy at the hands of federal agents is hitting hard on Capitol Hill, ratcheting up the odds of a partial government shutdown and spurring Republican lawmakers to make another break with the Trump administration. Here's the latest on how the fallout from Minnesota shooting is playing out in Congress. Shutdown looks likely. The Senate is set to take its first vote on the last tranche of government funding bills Thursday, and things aren't looking good. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is insisting that Republicans work across the aisle to rewrite DHS funding legislation, but also signaling that Democrats would be willing to help advance the other 5 pending appropriations bills in the meantime. Several Democrats who helped end the previous shutdown say they plan to vote against the funding bills unless there are changes to the ICE operation in Minnesota. At this stage, Senate GOP leadership expects to move forward as planned on the 6-bill package, including DHS. Republicans in the White House have reached out to Senate Democrats about how to proceed, but one Senate Democratic leadership aide, granted anonymity, said they haven't raised realistic solutions. So we'll see, guys. I'm expecting a shutdown. I want a shutdown. I don't care. 12 anyway. That was the energy and water bill. You guys are Devo co-founders. I like that. It's like if you see people with the COVID mask in the gun store, look out. Liberals say Trump is a pedophile because of an Epstein picture. Yeah, people aren't talking about Epstein files anymore. At least that's kind of nice. What I love about devolution, this is from Moker, says, is the fact that we could be in devolution, but we will never know, only by what transpires. Did I get that right? I mean, kind of. It's like one of those things where this is what we think is happening, and if we're right about that, we're going to see things unfold that map onto that reality. And time again, that's what we've had happen. Congress should not be paid during shutdown. I totally agree with that. The welfare using protesters will not be able to afford life if there's a shutdown. I'm so sick of these hypocritic, lying leftist Democrats. It's also, the right is also hypocrites. Everybody in government is hypocritic, lying, and retarded. People on Facebook are still screaming about the Epstein file. I guess I'm not allowed on Facebook, so. Doesn't the Department of War already have 1.5 trillion? Why do we need DHS? They have 1 trillion-ish, almost, just short of it. They're asking for, or Trump at least said, next year we should do 1.5 trillion. But that's what I agree with you, that we should defund DHS completely, get rid of ICE, get rid of all that stuff, and just roll it into the military. The military's job is to defend the homeland. You can defend them from illegal aliens. So that's a great comment, Q Awakening. Need to revisit my PEDS research. PEDS are working on a devolution. I totally agree. I've been keeping an eye on that every now and then. If you remember from one of my articles, I think it was the one that I titled, I may have just peed myself. there was these funding bills, appropriation bills, where they went through PEDS, and that's where, I speculated that based on the wording in here, it's highly likely that there was a change to the number of PEDS, whatever that means. They haven't had one of those funding bills since 2019. It's been a while. CSUSB Geochem, you can thank the Patriot Act for DHS. Yeah. And the real concern is them taking like what's going on in Minnesota and now this Signal chat group stuff, this little insurgency is them trying to justify some form of surveillance, like further entrenching the surveillance state upon us. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Snackums, this should be called the Rambling Commentary Show. That's basically what it is. Talk about whatever. Sometimes it's news. Sometimes it's just whatever you guys say in the chat. The Joint Chiefs did call for a rare hemisphere-wide military meeting on drug trafficking. It's kind of big news. It's scheduled for February 11th, the first time the defense chiefs from across the hemisphere will have gathered in this format. They're going to focus on countering drug trafficking, criminal networks, and other security threats. I think this is interesting because when you talk transnational criminal organizations, the deep state, or what we refer to as the deep state, is the biggest, the globalists. So that'll be interesting. They also put out their new defense strategy. Pentagon defense strategy elevates Homeland Security, presses allies on burden sharing. 2026 NDS. I haven't had a chance to read through this yet. I'm on page, well, here's a comp for you guys. I'm on page 17 of 34. Like 17 of the PDF, not this. Page 8 of the actual document. So if there's anything interesting there, I'll post about it or talk about it on tomorrow's show. But what else do we got? I don't know. Oh, silver's bottomed out. It's going down. 113 now. It was up at 117. Now it's down. Man, everybody's just, it's either Minnesota. I'm just scrolling through Twitter right now. Everything is either silver or Minnesota. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Oh, did you guys see this today?
Medic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is hysterical.
Oh my god.
She apparently got like part of her hand blown off by not a gun, but like whatever else they're using against the protesters. And that's how she reacted. I don't know. I just find that really funny. John rambles well. I don't know if I agree with that, but I try. The Heroldian weave. My pipes are frozen, John. I think you should go see a doctor about that, probably. Oh my God, says the atheists? What are you talking about? She picked up a flashbang to throw it back at ICE. Is that what she did? That is ridiculous. What an idiot. This is just what I don't understand. I mean, I'm all about like actually peacefully protesting. I believe everybody's First Amendment right. If there's an issue that you believe in, you should go. But like actually trying to interfere, I'll never understand the mindset of people who do that. And the only thing that I could think of that would even get me to consider doing something like that, which I never would. But the only thing that would even get me like, well, is it worth it or is it not? Is if they're paying you money for it, which they're clearly doing with these if they have an organized signal chat where people get like assigned tasks and duties to help interfere, they're also being paid for the most part. But even so, like once you see one person get, like I'd be out. Not worth it. Not worth it. Paid crisis actors, yes. John, based on your research, what do you think the tipping point event is to overcome the Soros-funded events we were watching with this clip? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because everybody's like aware of what's going on. Everybody knows these protests are paid. It just gets to a point, like when you consider that the only way that these people survive the Trump administration is by stalling. And if they stall enough and are able to, you know, pull off some shenanigans at the midterms and steal enough seats to impeach them and, you know, filibuster essentially the rest of his term, it does seem, and it's starting to feel like a lot of people in Trump's administration are kind of participating in some of the filibustering and the stonewalling, the stalling. Not everybody, but some. It makes you wonder, like, when you see these crimes and these obvious things going on, like, why hasn't Pam Bondi done some things? Just makes you wonder. I could see trying to throw an actual grenade away, not a smoke one. I just wouldn't be there. Lenny, I don't know about you, but I think that's how I would react if half of my hand was blown off. Looks kind of staged and a little bad acting. I don't know. It's not an acceptable answer. I did kind of answer. Never interfere with an enemy while he's in the process of destroying himself. If BB was asked this question, we would be here for 3 hours. Just saying, yes. John Mike Binn's video on Scaffold Commander, how he was the sedition hunter's #1 guy to find, and he was never on the FBI's most wanted list. Why? Because he was one of them. Isn't that crazy? Keith Higgins, John, you should start a daycare for preschool pyromaniacs and call it Badlands Burning Center. Yeah. Thanks, Keith, for the rant. I don't think I have any other headlines that I even want to go through. Israel is saying that the remains of the final hostages in Gaza have been recovered. I thought they would keep that PSYOP going longer, if not forever. So I'm surprised that we're getting that story now. Trump says that the Justice Department is now investigating Ilhan Omar. What else? Yeah, there's really nothing else that I care to talk about. That's just called burning bright. Run to the camera and flop around. John, if this is the biggest global RICO case, then doesn't it have to be executed with military precision, thus the stall? Potentially. But also, like, what if that it like comes and goes and we never get what we're expecting from the RICO case? It's my concern. I don't think Trump would allow that, but the expectations that the Charlie Angels team Trump has put together will just keep cliffhanging us until next week's episode is about 100%. It's 70s TV strategy, Saturday AM cartoons. It's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. Bondi just wants a show on Fox. She spends more time on Fox than she does anywhere else. And then, yes, we are totally fucked, Bay. I'll scan Twitter real quick one more time, see if there's anything new going on. Otherwise, I'm probably going to send you over to Y-Chromes. Oh, it's already 1 o'clock. Never mind. So, yeah, we're done here. You guys hit the thumbs up. I will see you tonight. I think we're having Frank, quite frankly, on Baseless tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So tune in. Hit the thumbs up. I'm going to send you over to Y-Chromes after this quick word from Soft Disclosure. If you guys haven't yet, get yourself some Soft Disclosure. We're going to be rolling out the Valentine's Day Soft Disclosure ads here real soon. Very excited about that. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you tonight.
I don't say this lightly. This lotion changes people.
My knuckles would actually start to crack. Started using the Soft Disclosure lotion, and I am very impressed. Even within just a few days, I've noticed a tremendous difference.
That's not a script. That's what happens when something actually works.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah, that line keeps coming up. Because when you don't use it, your skin starts acting up.
Every single ingredient in Soft Disclosure is intentionally chosen. There's no filler ingredients. It is not like this BS product where they have a bunch of ingredients. Every ingredient listed is for a purpose.
Over 65-star reviews for the lotion alone. Not influencers, not actors, just people whose skin finally shut up. Soft Disclosure Lotion. Once you try it, you'll understand why people won't stop talking about it. Visit softdisclosure.com and use code Badlands and get 10% off.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.